Alright, welcome back to another Culz Reviews episode. We went a little off course this week. We had one thing planned, but we'll hit that next week. And we tiptoed into the waters of Unacknowledged, a 2017 documentary. We watched the trailer and then ended up watching the actual documentary.
Yep.
That's how things work. We're just like, oh,
that looks good.
that's about aliens. Let's do that.
Right.
It kind of fits the timing as usual. We're about to drop another weekly abductions episode, so keep your eye on that as well. They're covering 3 more of the CIA disclosed papers.
Redacted files.
Yeah, which we like to call the redacted files. So as usual, my name's Keegan. Joining me tonight is
Matt.
And Sam.
So this one really didn't have any acting. Actually, it did. It had a few brief scenes of acting because it had some movies about aliens in it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was really a sit-down
documentary.
Sometimes maybe the music I thought was a little too loud. It kind of went over the voices.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that a little bit later on. So we're not going to be able to talk about acting or anything like that, as we were going to with our first idea of a project.
Correct.
So, Matt, we'll start off with you. What are some things that were covered in here that made your mind go, huh?
Still a lot of the shit that, the government's covering it up type thing, you kind of already knew that, but just learning more about more exact details and kind of like, the hot spots.
Yeah, see, for me, it was just like that moment I realized everything I've been looking at was like mentioned here.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of
Covered
Sue
a
the
lot of
T-Rex,
things.
which we talked about last episode, where the government screwed over that, but we've been looking into like Nikola Tesla and doing some episodes because was based in the Springs here. One of the famous pictures you see of him actually is in the Springs.
Yep.
Obviously the Kennedy stuff, we've done episodes on that a couple times. And then the UFO stuff, it's all kind of just slowly
all in one
becoming,
video.
Instead of like black and white and blue or whatever, it's just gray. Like it's all molding into one big interesting subject, I guess. And hopefully we can keep giving you more topics to check out.
Yeah.
Sam, what is something...
For me, nothing I already didn't know.
Right.
Yeah. This...
Maybe confirmation in things that we've seen on Project Blue Book, or...
I wouldn't even say confirmation, because I already kind of knew. But
I'm just saying, Aidan Gillen, they really did a good job making him look like Hynek.
Yeah.
Especially in his later years.
No, absolutely.
But no, it's always interesting to see when they do cover something in Blue Book, and then you see something disclosed, and you're like, oh, there it is. They're actually acknowledging that.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why they were able to have that series run for 2 seasons. # Save Project Blue Book.
Yeah.
There's a petition. We'll put it in here. Sign it.
Sign the petition. Bring Project Blue Book back.
Yeah, Discovery Plus, HBO Max. We'll sign up right now. If you're watching
Apple
this.
TV, shit.
Yeah.
Somebody sign up.
Netflix, Prime Video, Hulu. We're just reading.
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
TV, Prime Video.
Yeah, whatever wherever it is, I will sign up. You bring Project Blue Book Season 3.
Yeah.
Because Season 2 ends and you're like, nah, that can't be it.
Cliffhanger. Massive cliffhanger.
We can't talk about it because Matt has not seen it.
No.
Nope.
And we're not
still
there
on
yet in the
season
series.
one.
Me and Keegan have just...
Series 4.
Yeah, Matt's seen, I think, 6, 7 episodes of this. 7 episodes, right?
Yeah, because we skipped a few and then we went back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We had to cover the Roswell ones before we went down. And then, of course, Roswell was covered in here. I almost forgot about that.
Yep, Roswell was covered. Like, it covers everything. Phoenix Lights was even playing a part in it, but they didn't actually mention it.
They just kind of briefly show it, and that's something we've played around with, A, going down to Phoenix, but B, talking about the actual video, the experience, because one of our investigators, Alan, actually lived in Phoenix at the time and witnessed it. I mean, there's a lot to unpack in this that's almost 2 hours long. What are
49 minutes?
I mean, that's 10 minutes short. Alright, so what are things... What else did it cover, I guess? Like we said, Nikola Tesla and...
Shit.
I mean,
CIA,
yeah, the CIA, the JFK assassination.
Clinton, Bush,
Yeah.
Even had a little bit of Trump in there.
Trump, Truman,
But nothing about Trump.
Eisenhower.
Roosevelt, yeah.
Yeah, it brought up Eisenhower. That's always a fascinating one for people, how this general came out against the military right when he was going to leave office. His final speech was against the military-industrial complex. It had the Marilyn Monroe stuff, how she was killed because she knew too much and it was a warning to the Kennedys.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they didn't get that far, but
No.
they kind of
Hinted
at it.
Hinted towards it.
It's something. So Stephen Greer, who pretty much runs this episode, there's also a book called Unacknowledged, which you can try to find. These are actually becoming really hard to find DVDs
And
or
get.
books.
Because they're trying to, it was too much.
Yeah. He also helped with a book by Steve Alton called Undisclosed. The Steve Alton book Undisclosed is what Steve describes as a Trojan horse. So it's real fact, I guess, written as a fictional story, so at least it can get out there. And you do see a lot of what Steve Alton wrote in that brought up in here, which makes it interesting because he also did the Shell game, which if you want to see our interview with Steve, you can check it up somewhere. I don't know which side it pops up on, but it'll be somewhere. The Fandango dance from like 10 years ago.
It'll also be in the description below.
Yeah, we can put it there. What else was there? I mean, it's just...
It talked about our technology and how we're behind. Like, everything that we see nowadays is basically like prehistoric dinosaurs.
Yeah, especially...
To what we can have and do have.
Well, at least compared
abilities.
to what the military has, it's like...
Oh, yeah.
Well, more
or the
advanced.
military is willing to show until they get something
Until
better.
they need to, you know.
Then they show
Then
us
they
and
show it.
progress.
Just getting the machines that, you don't need gasoline or something like that. It brings me back to a story. I was talking to an older gentleman, much older. He was talking about how in the 60s he bought a vehicle. I don't remember the manufacturer of it, but he always thought his gas gauge was break because it stayed on full. And he drove the son of a bitch, he said, 200-300 miles. And he'd go to fill up and literally it wouldn't take any more gas. It would be a gallon or two and then it would be full. So he thought it was an issue, called the manufacturer of whoever it was. He said the next day he had like a brand new Rolls Royce type car out in front and they took the other one. I mean, it's like something like, they screwed up, they released that technology by mistake and it was quickly fixed.
Yeah, I know
And
it's...
with this new car, he said he got like 10 miles and shit, but hey, it was alright because he had
It was all free. Yeah, I mean, I know they did hint at Nikola Tesla a little bit as far as his free energy programs or stuff that, he was working on. But they really didn't go into depth. They even talk about how Tesla had a patent for or at least the blueprints for a car that used no energy. They didn't talk about that at all. Yeah, and, it all links back together. The FBI agent on that case was Trump. John Trump, I think was his name. Donald Trump's uncle. I mean, so it's interesting. Everything's kind of all together, and it really makes you wonder, where did it really stop? And I think November 22nd, 1963.
But they also said that, like, if the U.S. doesn't, because a lot of other countries have been starting to disclose everything that they know, and if the U.S. doesn't, we're going to become like as they described, a third world country in the enlightenment of their people towards this subject. So, I mean, we need to get a hint, but as they said it, we have psychopaths running our government.
For a long time.
For a long time, and who knows for how long.
Yep, and their philosophy is the president doesn't need to know because they're a short-term employee.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the world is waking up, and
I don't know about that. I bet you maybe 1% of people believe that the president doesn't have that thought where the president's a short-term employee. Because
true, but
having worked where I have worked, Matt knows, people are very confident in what the president can do. And
All it takes is one little trickle, though.
nah, I think society's too influenced by a lot of things anymore. To at least in our country, influence is everywhere, and I think people get their priorities mixed up. And going back to priorities mixed up, going back to the Sioux thing, where the government was just like, "Oh, we're gonna confiscate this fossil." For what reason? Who knows? I mean, our priorities are super mixed up everywhere. Yes, I mean, it was interesting, but I don't know if it was covered anything new, so to say, for any of us. I guess we have gone down the rabbit hole far
True.
too much.
So if you haven't
Gone down the
dug like us,
rabbit hole,
this is a good one to start with before it's gone.
Disappears.
yeah. So the DVD's already been taken off of Amazon, but you can still watch it. What did we watch it on?
Prime.
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. You can still rent it on, but the
For
DVD
now.
is no longer available, and I don't think the book is. So watch it on Prime. We'll link it somewhere if we can. I don't know. I think we can link Prime, right? We'll link Prime if you want to watch it. If you want to start that trickle down the rabbit hole, like Sam said, if you've been going down this rabbit hole already, probably not a lot of new stuff.
But
If
maybe some
anything-
new stuff, if depending on which rabbit hole, because this kind of trickles down many different rabbit holes.
Yeah, I mean it's 2 hours long, and it doesn't feel that long because I think it's so kind of fast paced with. All right,
Yep.
here's the stuff we're
Information
giving
after information.
you. All right, now we're giving you this stuff. Okay, now it's over here.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back.
No,
Oh,
it
no.
definitely did not seem like an hour and 48-minute movie.
Mm-mm.
Not at all.
Yeah, so I mean,
Documentary. Correct.
Definitely fascinating, though.
yeah. So Sam, rating. What would you give it?
Oh, 100 out of 10.
100 out of 10. That's the highest rating ever given.
Yeah,
Sam's
must watch if you want to.
Sam's being the
if you wanna
Dave
start
Metzler of
the
our
next
rest
journey.
of our reviews.
Must watch video if you want to start that next transition into enlightenment.
Matt.
I'm in the same boat as Sam. I'm very fascinated throughout the whole thing. 100%. 10 out of 10. Whatever you want, like, high scores.
I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10. What? I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna give it a 1 out of 10. I had to throw people off there. I mean, probably like. What? That was Matt. That wasn't anything.
This thing's moving pretty good right now.
It has been. Yeah, I noticed that, but that was you. No, I'd probably say like 9 or 10. I don't know.
9 or 10. Why not just a 9.5 meet in the middle?
All right, 9.5. Matt kind of led me there. We'll say 9.5 out of 10. At the end of the day, it was pretty intriguing. It didn't really cover a lot of new stuff, but it did kind of combine a lot of stuff where I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I like that subject. It was kind of just, I don't know, the bare bones as to try to get as much in as possible, but it was intriguing and definitely good for you if you haven't delved too deep into the subject.
True.
It kind of reminded me of, what's that movie we watched with the Bigfoot? Missing 411.
Oh.
Yeah, Missing 411.
Yeah, the Missing 411. We're going to rewatch for you guys and give you an actual review. We meant to do that, and then we got distracted by making actual videos.
Did we never make the 411 review?
No, we
didn't.
haven't.
We
So yeah,
watched it, and that was
upcoming
rubbish.
Culz review at some point. Missing 411. It was actually pretty good. I did enjoy that, so I'm looking forward to probably like 4th rewatch at this point. But if you want more Culz reviews, click the link that's right over Sam. If you want more from us over here at Culz Paranormal, right in front of my face, just popped up right there. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a subscribe.
And switch that notification from personalized to all if you want to get notified on all of our videos.
And let us know.
Yep.
What
Let
did you
us
think
know.
of this
like,
one?
comment. Tell us what you want to see. We're open to ideas.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah,
What's your score on the documentary we watched?
I liked it.
Yeah. What would you give it out of 10?
I thought it was a 10.
10, all right. And a 10 from Captain Bob.